The debate over whether Eugene Civic Stadium will stay or go will soon be over. The city has about 2 weeks to decide if it will accept an outside group's proposal to restore the ballpark.
Or they could give the property back to the 4J school district. KEZI 9 News reporter Stacey Kafka is live in the studio now with more on what the Civic Alliance is hoping to do with the park. Stacey?
It's been nearly 6 years since the bleachers at Civic Stadium were filled with fans cheering on the Eugene Emeralds. But if the City Council approves the Civic Alliance's proposal to purchase the park, the bleachers could soon hold thousands of spectators coming to the stadium to check out professional soccer and lots of kid sports.
Bev Smith spends her weeknights coaching this 4th grade girls basketball team.
We offer 8 core sports that run through the academic year: flag and tackle football, fall soccer, volleyball, basketball, spring soccer, lacrosse, softball, baseball, t-ball.
But space in the local school gymnasiums where kids sports teams practice can be a bit tight during the winter months for the 15,000 kids who play at least one sport with the program.
But they have faced budget cuts, which limits the time that the schools can be open. And as a result, we've really been sort of squished into fewer facilities and fewer times. And so it does get a little bit challenging.
The organization has been looking for a facility to call their own and are hopeful a vacant piece of land adjacent to Civic Stadium could soon be home to a field house.
By having a facility where we would have the equivalent of 4 full-size gymnasiums would really help us to host our own tournaments, to actually facilitate our basketball programs and our volleyball programs.
This plan is in partnership with a group called the Civic Alliance. The Lane United Football Club wants the old baseball stadium to transform into a soccer field.
And we think it would be really well supported in Eugene, but to do that, we need a stadium with suitable seating capacity, and Civic works.
For the soccer team to grow and move from amateur to pro.
Well, the ultimate goal for this, for our club, is to move up to the USL Pro level, which is the level right below the MLS, depending on who you talk to.
It needs a stadium with a crowd capacity similar to Civic.
We've gotten really great support from the community, from the fans, from around the league, etc. So I think all the pieces are there to go to that level, and that would just be the crowning moment for what we set out to do from the beginning.
So instead of a night at the ballpark, they hope community members will embrace the changes they want to come to Civic by enjoying a night at a soccer game.
We're really starting to see it take off. It's the second most popular sport in the country among 12 to 24-year-olds.
Well, soccer has the highest number of registrants, and certainly we are able to help those registrants find space to practice and to play.
Those working together to transform the stadium and land around Civic say they hope the sale will go through.
The walkability, the bikeability, the access to public transit, it's got a good neighborhood feel. We get a lot of foot traffic around there. And so those are all indicators that a stadium would be successful there. And there's already a stadium that just needs to be, buffed up a little bit.
So they can work together to improve the health and well-being of the entire community.
The building will be full, the building will be active, the building will be accessible, and I think that would really help to keep our Tracktown USA City moving during the winter and keep everybody moving, not just people that have access to other facilities in this community.
Tomorrow night at 6, catch part 2 of this series. We'll take a look into how the Civic Alliance can make this happen and the impact this restored stadium and field house could have not only on South Eugene, but the entire city. Live in the studio, Stacey Kafka, KEZI 9 News.
Just a couple more weeks until we know more about the future of Civic Stadium and whether the city of Eugene will in fact buy the property from the 4J school district. KEZI 9 News reporter Stacey Kafka shows us what's next and the benefits that the stadium could bring to the community.
Civic Stadium supporters have been working to save the aging ballpark for the last 8 years.
It's a great structure, it's a great venue. It was built as a community effort, and we kept getting the word out to the community about the great venue that Civic is and the future that it can have for the city of Eugene and for the area.
These supporters joined forces with the Eugene Civic Alliance last year and have been working together to not only save the ballpark, but expand the facilities so indoor sports can also be played there. Now they'll find out the fate of the ballpark in a few weeks.
They have until about February 16th to make a decision on whether they're going to approve the purchase or not.
City Manager John Reese met with the Civic Alliance in mid-January. Now the City Council will meet in an executive session to discuss the sale of the land.
If they don't approve the purchase, the property would go back to the 4J School District.
If the council approves the sale, the Civic Alliance will begin building the field house right away. And Friends of Civic Stadium will work to restore the stadium.
Since we've gotten an estimate somewhere between $2 and $3 million for the actual restoration of the stadium, that what we'd start off first is the roof. The roof is the first order of defense, I guess you would say, and that the roof stops the rain from coming in and creating more damage underneath.
So far, that group has nearly $300,000 and plans on continuing to raise money to restore the grandstand. And while a costly project, this restored stadium could have a major economic impact on not only South Eugene, but the entire area. Civic Stadium supporters say this stadium could host all kinds of tournaments, and the field house could be used for major indoor sporting events.
Now, and once it's opened up, we'll be having lots of more tournament play happening right here in the state, right here in Eugene.
They're hopeful these athletic tournaments could bring in teams from outside of the area, which could put money into local hotels and restaurants. In Eugene, Stacey Kafka, KEZI 9 News.
Now, Fred Meyer says if the sale to the city does not go through, it's still very interested in the Civic Stadium property. The school district says the city has until February 16th to tell them yes or no. If the city sale does not go through, the school board will decide what to do next with that surplus property.